Morning, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call us to order here. Can we have a roll call, please?
Vice Chair Salmon.
Here.
Member Phillips.
Here.
Member Renahan.
Here.
Member Eckhoff.
Here.
Member DeCiani.
Here.
And Member Rutledge.
Here. All right, we've got a full committee. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'll take a motion to approve our minutes for our regular meeting Tuesday, September 20th.
Second.
Any comments, questions, corrections on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. This is our last Economic Development Committee meeting of the term, so I wanted to just go through and thank some of our partners. Thank you to Amy Everett for helping me get onboarded when we had a little bit of a transition. You guys made it really easy. Same with Lisa Shabak. You guys were beyond helpful, making sure it was a smooth transition so we could still get all the county's work done. Greg Bedlov, of course, has been such a great partner, and Beth Marchetti. I wanted to go through and sort of highlight some of the work I think was really important this term because it felt like we finally got to move into recovery and looking to the future. Last term was so dominated by how many businesses can we keep open and how many employees can we keep at work. In this term, we got to talk about investing in the arts, investing in hospitality and diversity and inclusion. And I think it was very exciting to start looking to the future. And I wish this committee well as they continue planning on how we continue to move past recovery to just making this county the best place we all love to live. So thank you everyone for your hard work. Do we have any public comments this morning?
We do not.
First up are our incumbent worker training memos. I'll take a motion on our first one for Pepperidge Farm. So moved.
Second.
All right, any comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is an incumbent worker training memo for LDS Industries LLC.
Motion.
Second. Any comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is grant proposal notifications, GNP 60-22 Trade Adjustment Assistance Program grant for year 2022, a total of $123,883.31. So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up are our resolutions. FIR 475-22, a resolution acceptance and appropriation for additional funding for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Grants, the total of $150,000.
Second.
Any comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. For our procurement requisitions, A, approval for a contract purchase order issued to Dell Marketing for the subscription to Microsoft Office 365. The contract goes from January 1st, 2023 through January 31st, 2025 for a total not to exceed $37,120.79.
Motion.
Second. Any comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up is change orders. I take a motion on EDCO 24-22 amendment to the contract 6028-1 serve issued to Parents Alliance Employment Project for Youth Training Services to increase income rent by $50,000.
So moved.
Any comments, questions on this item?
I just had one. There was just a small typo and it had an extra zero after $50,000 somewhere. So you don't want it to be read as 500.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It was in the decision memo.
Okay. Thank you so much for pointing that out. Always appreciate the eagle eyes.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get that corrected. All in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So next up, we have Beth Marchetti. There you are. She's going to be giving us an update on our hotel relief program. Very exciting. And then anything else you're talking to us about today? So Beth, all yours.
Thank you, everyone. With me today, I have Tammy Rogers, who is from one of the Lombard hotels. So in case you had any questions on this program, I wanted to make sure that everyone recognized that she was here today. Again, Beth Marchetti, Executive Director of the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau. I want to thank the county board very, very much to help our industry, which was very hardly hit hardly, very hard. And was also spelled out in the ARPA rules, particularly for hospitality and tourism, which is still struggling. We had a pretty good year. We are still down in collections significantly by about 30%. Looking forward to in this quarter, because as you know, in Chicagoland with snow, we kind of wrapped up our busy time and now we're going into the slow time. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Did I get a clicker or you're okay with advancing? Okay, thank you. So a couple of successes I wanted to talk about. We were able to beat Minneapolis and got a huge conference here. It was the International Association of Tour Directors and Guides. So motor coach bus groups are coming back. Drury Lane is one of our top destination drivers for motor coach. So this was 275 tour operators and directors and guides. We did get a $5,000 grant from Lombard because the Westin was the host hotel, and what resulted in 700 rooms, more than $1 million in economic impact. And why this was really important is we did a FAM tour on the last day. So we took all of those people to Western DuPage, Central DuPage, and Eastern DuPage and did tours. And I will tell you, the interest I've never seen higher. The fact that my entire staff, which is very small, worked all weekend at USA Water Polo and worked round the clock for this event. And the comments we got were, you guys nailed it. Orlando, Vegas, and some of the other big cities didn't pay attention to us. You were there, you were engaged, and we got leads out of it. So that was what was really important. Next slide, another success story. USBC Women's Championship. You have to click one more time. This isn't your typical bowling tournament. This was the largest women's participatory sport in the world. 71 days. Next slide, please. We had the Queen's Tournament. You can see on the right, it's a young woman. We had 3,155 teams here from all over the country, including international, for a total of 18,562 room nights. That is a countywide impact. It's a huge tournament, and all of my hotels said, can you bring it back next year? Tammy, do you want to do a little, you can even just say what was great about it for you.
Well, it brought in a ton of business, number one. It was fantastic. We worked very close with Beth and her team, which kudos to you and your team for bringing this in. We had no idea of the impact that it was going to have on us. It was tremendous. Not to mention, everybody was so happy to be traveling again and so happy to be out and going to the bowling tournament. We happened to be just a couple of miles away from the bowling facility, so it was fantastic. But the growth that we got from this was just tremendous. I wish we had the staff to keep up with the business. That's a whole nother story. But it was a great impact on us.
So I flew, just to show the long-term effort of this, I flew to Dallas in 2016 to pitch this. It was supposed to be in 2021. We had to cancel. I'm like, what year is it? 2022, it finally happened. So that was a 6-year commitment on our part. And it was a couple $100,000 to get that tournament here. I don't normally brag on myself, but we started a sports commission from scratch with no dollars. And these are the kind of things that we want to bring in countywide impact. And we have the staff person to do it. And I think you might have met Igor Bakovich in our one of the full board meetings. He's 6'11". He played European basketball. He is a figure to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with, and he is getting those national governing bodies here. So I wanted to give a shout out to him. So next slide, please. We talked about this in December. That is Cantini's golf course. We literally converted it to a bike facility because we don't have those sports facilities here. So we get really creative. And then on the top left, you can see it's kind of the obstacle course of cycling. That brought over 110,000 people to Cantini. Next slide, please. Alabrejas just came down November 1st. We wrote a $60,000 grant to the state of Illinois. We turned that in. That grant was written in 2021. And we just finally got the grant agreement. So just goes to show you that we worked really hard and some of these things are lagged, but it was a huge success with lots of media on this. So we actually were responsible for bringing in the trucks, the crates, and the artists who stayed in Warrenville. There's a shot of one of the Mexican artists that was there. So next slide, please. So now to the hotel relief program. So as you know, in July of last year, the county resolution was for $2 million to help our hotels. So I'm going to go through some of the numbers with you. There's quite a few slides. I'm happy, we have it here so we can certainly share this with the board. So total hotels in DuPage is 110 hotels. We are a membership organization. Some of those hotels were not members. But everybody was eligible, including some Aurora hotels, which is another Convention and Visitors Bureau. So we partnered with them to make sure that their hotels were aware of it. We have some Naperville hotels. We kept everybody informed. So we had 2 hotels that were ineligible. One was in Cook County in Burbridge. Another was, and we'll get into that, but there's 2 ineligible. One was not open in time to get into COVID. We had 5 hotels that actually declined the program. They didn't like the optics. Their ownership group didn't want to do it. I'm not exactly sure, but those were 5 that actually said no, thank you. So we have remaining 103 hotels. We received 85 applications and we have 18 that were non-responsive, 12 of which are the extended stay brand. They corporately make a decision to not apply for any of those grants. In addition, and Tammy and I were talking about this, we had some extended stay hotels that didn't pay much attention. I'm going to say this in a better way. They were not able to attest that they lost money during COVID. They were busy. People weren't gathering. So the extended stay properties became a gathering place. Next slide, please. So I broke this down by community, $112 per room. The column in the middle there, for example, Hampton Inn and Suites Addison has 87 rooms. That was their total that we're going to be cutting checks from the finance department. Thank you, Jeff. All of that was submitted. All of that was submitted via a dedicated email to Mary Catherine. So look, if you want, we can keep going through, but all the cities are in here. I would say next slide.
Yeah, let's just kind of tab through so everyone can kind of peruse their communities here. And you can send.
Yes, and I actually have it printed as well.
And then Amy, could you just send a copy of it? So, because I know everyone wants to look at what's in their district.
So when we get to Westmont, one more slide.
That's Westmont.
Good deal. I was trying to think of my W's here. So there's your total, 13,010 rooms. If you'll recall, we have about 16,000. So total $1.457 million. Next slide, please. So those were the 2 that were ineligible. True had not opened, and Inn at Water's Edge, because it's at the College of DuPage and government, was not eligible, but they only have 6 rooms. Those were the 5 that declined. So please look at your communities there. Brer Rabbit is Villa Park. Next slide, please. And then there you go. Those are the ones that didn't respond.
And almost all of those are the extended
Right,
stay.
12 of the 18 there are extended stay.
Are you surprised by Courtyard Marriott? Did we get responses from other Courtyard Marriotts?
Yes.
Okay, and they're all kind of franchised, so it's owner.
The owner made the decision, yes. And actually, I do know the GM, and she kept sending the application to the ownership group. And I mean, we finally had to cut it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if there's, interest from this committee, we could continue to do something about it, but we wanted to finally have a landing place. So there is some money left over. We've talked about this with several of the board members. As you know, we just showed you Stardust Bowl Stadium is what they're going to be called. When we did our sports study, that was the only facility that actually had tourism events weekend after weekend after weekend. Now we have the natatorium built. I'm happy to say we hosted USA Water Polo. We had TYR swimming in February. We stole it from Des Moines, Iowa in 19 days. And Katie Ledecky and the Olympians were there. We are going to be hosting that again next year. We have 3 more water polo events. I actually have economic impact reports from the events that are large like that. I would respectfully say that if there is leftover dollars, I know we talked about doing a friendly amendment, and board member Salman, Vice Chair Salman and I chatted. We understand that the resolution stands and there's money to give back, but I think our industry was hit so hard. 2023, odd years in Chicagoland are hard years because conventions rotate. They might come in 2022 to the Midwest, then they go to the East Coast, then they go to the West Coast, or one or the other. They love staying in Chicago because of O'Hare, but now they like Chicagoland, and we have an opportunity. So 2023 is going to be tough, and as Tammy said, everybody in the entire world is short on staff, but that's what really our struggle is right now. So hopefully the state is going to unveil with the Illinois Hotel and Lodging Association a program to help with payroll and benefits to try to find some extra staff, but that's where we stand. So we will be working with Mr. Bedeloff over there with a marketing program, and we've already started working on our CMAP program, which are the 3 resolutions that the county passed. The $50,000 marketing program with our Chicagoland partners, just like Mr. Bedeloff is doing a Northern Illinois Economic Development Program, and then the marketing program, which is going to be a DuPage County brand awareness campaign, and then each of us are going to be doing an economic development and a tourism component so that we can keep up with all the other competitors. As you know, tourism is very competitive with Expedia and Travelocity and all those huge brands. So we have to make sure that DuPage County stays front and center, particularly as we have a lot of interest in, we want to come to Chicago, but we like Chicago suburbs. In addition, I would be remiss if I didn't remind everyone, because I think this is going to be such a huge coup to our hotels. In 2026, we're hosting President's Cup. I was actually in September in North Carolina meeting with Visit North Carolina and their sports commission, Visit Charlotte, excuse me. Australia, which is hosting in 2028. 2026 will be, or 2024 will be Canada, and then believe it or not, 2030 will be St. Louis. So we were talking about, what PGA Tour is responsible for, what the Convention and Visitors Bureau is responsible for. I'm sure the business community will be very involved. But that was a really great opportunity for us to really figure out how to put DuPage County hotels in the booking site first, ahead of Chicago, ahead of Schaumburg, ahead of all the other communities. So.
Member DeCiani, you had a question?
Can you shed some light on the impact that Stardust has, Stardust Stadium? That's
right, say it with your chest.
Hotel rentals as far as actual numbers. Can you expand on that a little bit so people have an idea of the impact?
So I'm gonna, off the top of my head, there's about 5 tournaments that require bid fees. Our sports commission tries to write grants. We work with our municipal partners. As far as return on investment, it's significant. They stay in our hotels. And I have economic impact reports. I'm not sure if I brought one. Every weekend, they have at least 1,200 room nights. And then when we bring in the bigger tournaments, it could be substantial. Tammy, do you have any ideas?
I can pull all of that, but I don't have it.
Yeah.
We'll send that as a follow-up.
I
Yes.
remember a number like 118,000 stays,
Oh, I think it's way more than that.
Right. So
And on average rate, the good news is our occupancy is starting to climb. The good news, unless you stay in our hotels, is the average daily rate went up. So for example, USA Water Polo was $148, which is not 300 or 400 like it is in big cities, but we cannot get that rate up. So 148, we'll take it. Yeah,
I
I mean-
mentioned all the restaurants too. I know you and I were talking about that last week, and I'm sure you remember from when they were all
Yeah.
here, you couldn't go to a restaurant in Addison at least without
Right.
seeing people in lanyards. It was wild.
The nice thing too is that we got a lot of press from that. We had ABC7, we had Channel 9, WGN. There was a woman that actually was on television that was a local bowler that was on television. It was just a really good feel-good story. And I agree, our hotels reported this is exactly the clientele they want. They were women who were getting together as girlfriends. They bowl on the same team. Starbucks in the DoubleTree Downers Grove was up 43%. The adult beverage area was up 33% from the year over year, and they went to bed early. So, I mean, and that's the client you want. They weren't, flipping hockey pucks down the hallway. So in terms of sports, that's the group we want. So the hotels have said, how do we get them back? How do we get them back? And so my dialogue with Greg and with Member DeCiani is, can we try to, since the natatorium got some dollars, perhaps there's an opportunity with some of that money we gave back that they could come in and ask for something. And so I think there's an opportunity there. I know that would help us as well with hotel rooms.
I would like to recommend that we either do a friendly amendment to the resolution and or just do a one-off like we did the natatorium and try to get it done before we're up. I know it's kind of quick, but I think they really could use the help, and they've got a proven track record and they fill rooms.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're going to get it back in spades, and we've got the extra dollars, leftover money over $1 million. So I would move that we consider a special call next week and get it on the agenda and approve it before.
Well, I think we could, Nick, I'm staring at you.
Yeah.
I think we could discharge from committee, so we could probably get away without the special call. Is there enough time to get it
Straight to
drafted?
Finance and board with it. The question would be the mechanism, whether you want to do that through the current contract or have a separate contract like the natatorium.
Okay.
I will tell you that if you do a separate contract, it will likely not be done by then, because then you have the attorneys from both sides negotiating. The natatorium took several weeks to get there, of intense back and forth. So that's the will of the committee. If you would like us to pursue with Stardust and move forward.
Is there any objection or get more
Yeah,
conversation?
I just had a question in terms of, this sounds like a great, bowling, that's a great thing, but the natatorium is also great too, and there's probably a soccer event. I would not be opposed to just almost putting that in the kitty, and then maybe you all make a decision on where to go versus just maybe choosing that one.
If you'll recall, my initial ask was for sports, bed fees. So I know there was meetings with the natatorium. I'm going to give you an example. So that USA Water Polo, there's a contract to rent the venue. So I'm going to give you a really good example. A well-funded sports commission, if the natatorium can get $700, I'm making up numbers, by the way, $700 an hour for the pool, and the US governing body wants to only pay $500, a sports commission would come in and make up the $200 difference. In addition to the rental of the venue, there's hosting fees. So we actually paid this last time $12,000 to USA Water Polo just to get them here. Then we are responsible for booking the hotel rooms, for hosting the teams, Gatorade or water or whatever that is. So there's really a lot of costs. We made signs to welcome them in the hotel. So I appreciate that comment, Member Runningham. I would love that, but that's.
And I agree with the discretion. I think it's good. So I would, without objection, I'd move that we make friendly. What's easier, Nick, then a friendly amendment?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, does anyone else have any objections? All right, so we'll direct staff then to look at a friendly amendment to direct funds to Stardust and discharge to this committee, and it'll be on the finance for the 22nd.
I think-
We'll consider it.
Well, and actually,
I was thinking more
Member
just
Running, give her
Yeah,
general-
that's what I'm thinking
Go with
too.
get discretion so that she can. If
So-
the natatorium has an
You know
event,
better.
let-
You
Not
want to do that?
specific, we got to talk to the state's attorney,
Okay,
and obviously there's ARPA requirements in there. If we understand the how the committee would like to proceed. If we can get there, we will absolutely proceed and try to have that on Tuesday.
So our goal is to try to take the extra dollars and put them towards sports needs. And then you would decide, you know, the bid fees, is it this extra stuff? Does that kind of get
Yeah,
to
I
the
would
spirit
say
of what you're
probably
saying?
more specifically bid fees, to make sure to draw to, let's say, the bowling or whatever, but I mean, I don't
I
know.
think we have to give them discretion.
Right.
They might need to come up with $2 a
Yeah, or
line
signage or whatever.
to deal with a shortfall and, you know.
We have,
So-
right off the top of my head, we have US Postal Bowlers, we have, they loved, USBC Women's loved coming in. They want to bid for 2028 and also for Junior Gold. And I don't know if a lot of you weren't here for Junior Gold. We hosted that in 2015. That was huge as well. And we saw a 4% increase in occupancy during that time for all of our hotel properties. So
So that's our direction to staff, knowing of course that if state's attorney or someone else throws up a flag, we're not gonna just rush to rush. We
Well,
can
and
wait till
that's as long
December,
as the
January.
committee is comfortable with that, we will pursue it all haste to get this done. If we can get it on next week, we will. But I don't see a problem unless the committee, if it does trail into December, we can do that as well, correct?
Yeah, it would be up to you and Grant.
All right, thank you.
There you go. All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you, everyone.
Any other questions for Beth? Or let her-
We still have to turn in our administrative fees. So there's still a little bit that will come out of that fund, but it's not. I wanted to let you know.
Yeah, no, just we have a good
Yeah.
running
Beth,
tally.
well done.
Yeah,
Thank you.
truly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tammy, any last
Yeah.
comments? I mean, I just want to say thank you to the industry because it's been tough.
And I want to say thank you to you because honestly, without the DCBB, without Beth and her team, I don't know what I would do. I mean, there's such a huge support system and such a cheerleader for the hospitality industry.
I
And
didn't pay her to say that.
and not only bringing in the business for the hotels in the area, but it affects every business in our area, the restaurants. I mean, a couple of the restaurants across the Brower House from us, I mean, I've had a discussion with the owner there and he's seen a tremendous, yeah, so it's incredible. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Beth.
Beth.
All right, any old business? Oh, all right, how about a new business, Greg? You want to?
You want me to?
Thank you for reminding me.
You know, I was asked to put together a report on how the Connect DuPage program is going. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation, but I have a presentation in front of you all. And I know you're running late, so I'll try to be quick. You remember the Connect DuPage program was designed to promote commercial collaboration and raise awareness for minority and women-owned and veteran-owned businesses throughout DuPage County. We are targeting all of the business community within DuPage. And again, our primary responsibility with Connect DuPage is to enhance awareness for veteran, minority, and women-owned businesses on how they can accelerate their profile and elevate their presence within the county. So year to date, and you know, we launched this in June. You gave us a $75,000 grant to do it. This is open to any business within DuPage County. Our website launched in June and we started our Connect DuPage series. Many of you have been to our initial event and our initial launch. So very quickly, if you look, we finalized the website in July. And to date, we've had 1,252 businesses visit that website. We do remarketing for the website with a click-through rate of about 0.08%. Might not be the highest click rate or through rate that you've ever heard, but it is above industry standards and we are reaching our target marketing. Specifically for the market that we're trying to reach, the veterans, the women-owned businesses, the disadvantaged businesses. We've had 15,310 impressions with a click-through rate on that that's significantly higher than industry standards as well. We have really flooded the social media market in the DuPage business community with over 19,000 impressions, 7,200 of which were unique businesses within DuPage County that have clicked through to the website 273 times for 8,193 engagements. That's an incredibly high engagement for the businesses that are availing themselves of this program. I won't bore you with all of the social media stuff, but if you look at the results, I'll go to the results since the launch in June. We did hold our kickoff event. Thank you very much to Member Selman, Member Rutledge, all the other folks who attended it. We had 140 unique businesses, minority, women-owned businesses, some of the bigger businesses throughout DuPage County, with 23 requests for additional information on that program. Our next steps, working with the county, we're going to have an event to understand the certification process. One of the big goals of this is to get women and minority-owned businesses certified within the state of Illinois, which opens up additional procurement opportunities for them. That event will kick off on January 26th. So again, we're going to continue to promote the commercial collaboration. But one thing I wanted to kind of bring to your attention were the hard numbers in terms of the number of businesses that have asked for a report. As of this morning, we have over 75 businesses that have asked for a report of the other businesses within the portal with whom they can do business. And of those 75 businesses, we've directed about a dozen of them to the College of DuPage's Small Business Development Center and PTAC, which are the certifying agencies that are designed to take these businesses to the next step. So the program is off and running. I think it's fair to say that it's relatively young in its infancy, but we're seeing tremendous success already. Like Beth, we are reporting to Mary Catherine and Jeff and their team on our spend versus the dollars that have been allocated. We're about halfway through the dollars, and we knew the majority of the cost would be up front, launching the website, doing the outreach to the business community. And now the work starts in conjunction with the county on connecting these minority-owned businesses, not only to the bigger businesses within DuPage, all of whom have corporate social responsibility goals, diversity, equity, and inclusion goals within their own organizations, but also to get them to go take that next step to become a certified women-owned business, to become a certified minority-owned business, to become a certified veteran-owned business, so that when they bid on contracts within DuPage County, within the state of Illinois, within any local unit of government, they are recognized and will have a distinct advantage / opportunity to have that business be awarded that contract from the county. So we think we're off to a great start. We're really, really pleased with the number of businesses that came out for our kickoff event. And the next event, in conjunction with kind of a vendor fair and working with Lisa and her team on a job fair, is designed to take this all to the next level so that those businesses can figure out ways to grow their business. I know that was quick. The presentation in front of you has more details, but I'm very comfortable and very confident the program is meeting its intended goals at this point. I'm happy to answer any questions.
My question, I know Choose DuPage is not doing the certification process, but I mean, what kind of dollar figure are you telling businesses that it might cost to certify?
If they avail themselves of the services that the Choose DuPage board members are offering, the dollar amount would be significantly less, because as you know, Choose DuPage is a public-private partnership. We have bankers, lawyers, accountants, and financial professionals on our board of directors who have all volunteered to do the certification process for the businesses on a pro bono basis. Whether or not businesses avail themselves of that is a complete separate issue. But I can tell you that if a business chooses to go down that path to certification, you're looking at a high 5-figure dollar amount to become certified, because there's legal filings that need to be done. There's a certification process that needs to be done. There's accounting processes that need to be done. So the Small Business Development Center shepherds folks through this as well. So I hope that answers your question. Generally speaking, the bigger issue with that, Member Renahan, is the time that's involved in getting through the process. It can take upwards of a year to become a state certified business to avail yourselves of these opportunities. But we're encouraging at this point, because we have a dozen or so businesses that have asked for this, it affords us the opportunity to do one-on-one concierge service with those businesses and connect them with an accountant who'll do the paperwork for them, with a lawyer who'll do the legal work for them, with a banker who will go over their books with them to help offset some of those costs. But it's not an inexpensive endeavor.
Any other questions from our folks? Yeah.
Real
Robert,
quick
could
one.
you-
I must not charge enough for that, but
I'd love to send them to you, Member Krajewski, but that would be a giant conflict.
No,
of interest.
I don't believe me, I don't want. You get certified with the City of Chicago, get certified with Cook County, get certified with the State of Illinois, they got reciprocity, you can go back and forth. I would never advise anybody to go through Chicago because it takes forever and whatever, but the state is the easiest. Can we just put our own certification process in the county to make it much simpler than, I mean, the state's not bad, and it's, the thing is, you submit your documents and your application, the process, and there, they do ask for a lot of stuff, your board minutes and your account and all that, but then it sits for somebody's desk for months and months and months, and they send it back. It takes a long time. And then if we do have our own process, is that a one that can be used as reciprocity then that Illinois would accept if they do anything outside of DuPage or Cook County or City of Chicago?
Truthfully, I would defer to the state's attorney on that. As always, we'd be happy to help with that, but I don't believe that DuPage County, and I could be dead wrong on this, I don't believe DuPage County can just say, we want to be a certifying agency, and that automatically works for Chicago and the state and every other unit of government. Right now,
Because it's home rule in Chicago and Cook get that, I don't know, but I was just curious,
I'd
otherwise,
be happy to dig into
I think
that.
we
and see if
I would
can
think we
do
should
it.
look at doing our own, because it's not that hard of a concept. It's not, I mean, just you provide the documents, and to try to go through even the state of Illinois takes a while.
I think we would have to see if there's legislation involved, Brian.
Yeah, I would just see if we can, I don't know, and
If that's the will of the committee to become a certifying agency, I think the county would have to, Lisa's smiling, I think the county would have to do it. I don't think Choose DuPage could do it.
but even Chicago doesn't even, I mean, they don't even do it now. They hire consultants to
Correct.
actually review the applications and
Correct.
stuff,
Yeah.
and, you know, talk about conflict, there you go. right there.
Good follow-up for the next term, I think. Member Rutledge?
Just a quick comment, my efforts to reduce the amount of paper that we use is well known, so
I was gonna-
double-sided.
I was gonna double sided, but truthfully, our copier was on the prints. I apologize. I got 4 slides on 1 page. That was the best I could do, but we'll double sided, get our copier fixed.
All right, any other, yeah.
Yeah,
Member
Greg,
Buchanan?
you've done a great job and with the business relief program with COVID, stepped up big time. And I want to give, for many of us, our last meeting in the committee, and I just want to thank everybody who's a former chair of this committee. We've done some great things. Lisa Swatch, all the job fairs and first disability job fair ever in the history of the county, and you know, Greg, and what you've done, and Beth, in probably the toughest of times, we really stepped up. So kudos to everybody, both staff, our partners, and the board members that have served. So thank you.
Thank you.
Member Buchanan? Anything else under new business? All right, without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, right.